Hello, welcome to the Peter Repeater, episode 34. This is the new podcast where this episode is new, but the podcast itself is still in its infancy stage, but we're getting there slowly but surely. Just making sure everything's up and running and everything's going correctly. Just shot in the dark, really hope that it all works out, this live stream. This episode working technically and also the entire thing. So I always think, what's there to talk about? And I always get this like nervous energy, particularly if the previous day has got like 5 views more than nothing. And I'm just got this nervous energy in me, like what if people are watching and stuff? And I think about that. And then before I start, I'm like, okay, this is podcast time now. And I'm setting it up, getting the thumbnail sorted, editing the title to make sure that it you can see that it's got the right number, and I getting everything sorted, everything's in the works. And then and then I know during all this setup of my podcast, which takes about 5 minutes, I know I've got nothing to talk about. It's it's a fact. And I'm thinking, what am I going to talk about? I've got nothing to talk about. Yesterday, for whatever reason, I did quite well. I recounted some. Obviously I'm here every day now. Yesterday and the day before, and not the day before that, but yeah. And just I recounted a story from my childhood, and I think it was a little bit of fun. So it is possible to for this podcast to work and for me to have fun talking and everything. But I always have that thing, I've got nothing to talk about. So why am I even trying? It's like, well, I want to do podcasting as a hobby, and I want people to watch. That's the aim. But obviously I always extrapolate that to I want to do it for a living. Whenever I start this YouTubing, I've done videos on and off for 5 years, or maybe 10 years, and whenever I start it, I'm like, this is it. This is when I'm gonna make it as a YouTuber. It's 2020. We're in the Corona times. We're stuck inside, and I'm about to start a degree. Which for me, I'm not thinking like 3 years of degree, study hard, get some good skills there. I'm not thinking that. Because that would lead to a job. I do not want a job. I've tried the office job, working 8:30 till 4:30 or whatever it is, and it's just kaboosh. It's a mind-numbing eternity of boredom, and it's just really it's really hard to concentrate, and I don't deal well with just working in an office, and you don't get a sense of the seasons. Like, it'll be winter, then it'll be summer, and then there'll be a Christmas meal, and then there's another Christmas meal, and then you're like, how did all this time go? Like, a year's just gone poof, just like that, vanished into thin air. And I'm just thinking, how where did it all go? And I don't really know. But there you go. Time just disappears, and you don't get a sense of the day or what's happening outside, because you're just stuck in the office every day of the week, Monday to Friday, and you hardly get any holiday. So like, I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like working through August. Love Island has finished. I've working through August, and I'm doing this job that I don't really like. And then on top of all that, I have I have this burning feeling that other people my age are that other people my age are on holiday now, because they've doing a degree, and they've either graduated or they're between year 2 and 3, and they're having a nice time on holiday, and I'm just stuck inside, unaware of the sunlight, and I'm just in an office. And I do say that I don't like my job, and that's not a reference to the job itself or the people I work with. It's a reference to just being in an office and having to work. So basically, what I've summarized from this, that's not why, what I've deduced from this is that any office job, when you're stuck inside and you have to wake up early every morning and you have to go somewhere, like any sort of job like that, I just can't do. So I just need to really knuckle down and think, what can I do that isn't stuck in an office? And then here I am, months later, thinking, do you know what? You know this curtain in the background and me talking? Well, I could do 30 episodes of that and build up a channel, and then I could do another 400,000 episodes till I'm 85 with this same background living in my parents' house. I can just do that for a living. And then there's like technicalities like being able to support yourself, being able to feed yourself and stuff like that. And I haven't thought it through. But for now, this is an example of my mindset, just always extrapolating to the future, extending any situation ad infinitum and thinking, oh, I could be on Joe Rogan's podcast in a couple of years if I knuckle down and get an audience and everything, and I could be part of the podcasting crew in Los Angeles in America. And to be honest, I might do that. But this is just thoughts, and this is day 3 or 4 in a row, and after not having done it for a week, and then before that not having done it for a week, and it's just, here I am on YouTube just thinking, this is it, this is my time. It's surely the because YouTube always has that sense of, it's delusional, but you always have that sense of excitement that this video could just go in views and just go crazy. And it's just really exciting to think that it's possible for video views to go up at any moment. They never do. Like it has happened to me in the past. I have got everyone at my school watching me, and it sort of blew up a little bit. And that was probably my last chance as a YouTuber. I probably should have quit school, forget about my maths and physics, and just focus on that career. And I was thinking that at the time, but I didn't. So so I resat the year. Yeah, and obviously it's complicated, but so I should have just capitalized, done my sketches with my teddies and how bad I am at revising, and do my geography videos, but that I stopped, and I got like 1,000 views of me dancing with headphones because of the copyright music problem and people not being able to hear me. So that was the idea, was just to dance away and people watch, and they did. I don't know why, but that's YouTube for you. And it could be 1 view because you've clicked on it yourself. I'm used to that, I know what that feels like. And then there's 5 views because I've got my good friends watching it, and that's good news. And then that's where I've been at recently. So that's why I'm getting really excited. I've got me watching it, I've got my friends watching it, and I'm very happy about that. Friends in a loose sense, people that I know, people that support the channel and sometimes click on a video. So if you're watching this, you're obviously my friend. That isn't from a place of desperation. It's just kindness on my part, and I have no friends. No. How do you define a friend? You can't count them. I anyway, we won't get into my insecurities, but I've never been the socializing type. Anyway, so YouTube could happen, views could come my way, but till then I'll just keep on going. And I did like 20 videos, and then I just gave up because I thought, right, there's 2 people watching me live. I've got my laptop there that counts as one viewer, and I've got my live chat open that counts as two viewers. So there's two viewers, and I thought, and it kept me I will get onto something else, but let's be honest, this is all there is. I kept the hope alive, thinking, yeah, one person's always watching me. I can get on, and I can, pave the way to stardom and get on Joe Rogan's podcast and be with my stand-up comics. Obviously that's my new dream, to be a stand-up comedian, but sitting down and just haven't got any material, but that's just a dream. Anyway, so that's the dream, to be Joe Rogan podcast stand-up comic. But when you realise that some of the views are just yourself, I did 20 videos like that, and it's probably good nobody watched them because they weren't very interesting anyway. And then that is the fear about I talk about it before every podcast. I just have nothing to talk about. I'm like, yeah, nothing to talk about. That's part of the excitement. But we'll get into some nitty gritty. We'll get into some content soon. So I thought I did some preparation. My hands are going all over the place. I don't know why. I did some preparation for this podcast, and I knuckled down, and obviously I wrote out a script and handed it to my producers and cross-reference, and there's some copy editing involved and everything. And I've currently got people in my ear just saying, "Peter, you're off script. You are talking absolute twaddle." And I've got somebody else in the other ear just saying, "Peter, you need to have an ad roll in 4 minutes and advertise male grooming quickly." Manscaped.com, check the link in the description. They're not my sponsor anyway, but anyway, so yeah, got people in my ear. Obviously it's all prepared, scripted, production level is top notch. Live streaming here, we've got different things going on. No, just joking. Well, I got none of that, so but I did prepare something, I thought, because Theo Von, stand-up comic podcaster living in Los Angeles, like everyone I watch, Theo Von says, just one guy just asked him, "So what have you been up to?" And the context of this is we've been in quarantine for a month, and there's nothing to do, and no one's doing anything, and we're all stuck inside, is basically what he was thinking. And I was thinking, what about the people working? And I don't know, but he's obviously, everyone's stuck inside, nothing to do. And so when somebody asks you, "Oh, what have you been up to?" obviously the response is nothing. it's just nothing. And he just says it in his podcast. It's just nothing. Like, what are you up to? Well, I've been doing this. Nothing. And obviously he's a stand-up comic sitting down doing the podcast, and he just keeps on saying nada. So the idea for this video that I've got onto very quickly here is what to do in your house to entertain yourself when there's nothing to do. And I'm not as imaginative as Theo Von. Check him on YouTube, Theo Von. Not as imaginative as him. With he just comes up with the most random stuff, saying you can just eat anything. You can just have milk with cookies. You can have a midnight snack. You can just he just comes up with these completely random foods that you just feed yourself during the day. And anyway, so my idea that I've got onto quickly is what to do inside. What can you do to entertain yourself? And my idea is try and think of something to be passionate about, and try and do that thing as much as you can. Because I feel that in life we often have our day-to-day job or whatever, and we have a lack of like things we truly care about, and we're just sort of living through the motions, earning the money, and then obviously when you get home you don't want to work or anything, so you just sit down and watch Netflix, and that's all you do, you know. And I did that for over a year, just work TV, and that's all I did. So the tendency when you've stuck inside, nothing to do, is just to focus on the things that you did in your spare time, but just do that in a more prolonged form, and that is unsustainable. It's just not very good. You can't keep it up and be happy. So I think be passionate about something and do it. And so the passionate thing that I did, I started writing a book about whether God exists, and I'll just advertise it. It's called An Unbelievable God by Peter Newing, Newing. Type it on Amazon. There's my standard book reference. I'll do that every episode because I want people to read it. Anyway, and then check out my book, and it's good. It costs 99p if you download the Kindle app or whatever. Very good book. Just ignore the grammar mistakes and everything. Yeah, so be passionate about something, do something inside that you truly care about. So I wrote a book. I thought, you know what, I'm going to write a book. It's going to be 100,000 words. It's going to be long book, thick book, you know, just like proper book with like enough thickness so you can have writing on the side. 300-page book, and people can read it, and like I'll submit it to the publishers and they can copy edit it, and they can advertise it, and it'll be on the bookshelves everywhere and be international bestseller. You didn't hear it from me, sort of thing. But instead I tried writing 1,000 words a day. I thought I'd keep them going for 10 weeks, so it'd be 70,000 words. But what ended up happening is I got bored, so I'd only wrote like a little tiny whiny book with a little binder thing, and it's really thin, basically like a leaflet sort of thing. I can't wait to get my leaflet, but it's a short book, and so I gave up after 29 days of writing. So I wrote it, uploaded it on Kindle, and sort of became an author overnight, because that's all you need to be an author, is to write a book. And that's a special thing about being an author. So yeah, uploaded it, and then I thought I'd read the book to check for mistakes, corrected all the mistakes, and then I thought I'll upload it again, paperback version as well. Still got grammar mistakes in because I read it and I was like, oh yeah, there's a mistake, but never mind, it's not a finished work of art. So that's the thing, something to do inside to avoid the empty vacuum of Netflix and being bored and having nothing to watch and nothing to do and being stir crazy. Find something you're passionate about. So for me, that was writing a book, and then now I've got life sorted. Obviously, bedroom since 3 years old here, and podcasting going well, and episode 33 with obviously, my life is sorted. I'll never have to work again. That's the sort of stage we're at here. So so things that I'm doing now that I'm passionate about. I finished the book, leaflet thing. Things that I'm passionate about now is podcasts. I do that once a day now. I thought I'd start a few days ago. So I do that once a day. I tried it twice a day. That was too much work. Twice a day. Because I didn't have any other life outside the podcast. So I'd have nothing to talk about. You think I've got nothing to talk about right now, and I'm just filling the void? You go back a couple of episodes. Episode 25, whatever, I've got literally nothing to talk about. But I think of substance, not just filling the time with words. Anyway, so do the podcast once a day, and also what I'm doing is on my Instagram, I've got this new thing called quarantine content, where I upload a photo a day. That's another story. I basically got photos on Instagram of my favourite photography and stuff, and because I'm stuck inside, can't take photos, upload the photo, and then I call it, copying a YouTuber, Marques Brownlee, quarantine content. So I just upload old photos because I can't go out and about and take photos. So it's quarantine content 1, 2, 3. So it's a chock-a-block day, really. You talk on YouTube for about 40 minutes. Don't worry, this will end. And then what you do is you also fill your time with talking on YouTube, and then I'll also upload a photo to Instagram. So that's something else that I'm passionate about. So I'm doing my Instagram because I like editing photos, getting a mediocre photo into like basically a vivid painting with unrealistic colors, which looks pretty good. So that's my Instagram. And Instagram, you probably already have guessed, at Peter Newing, Newing, for Newing. So that's my Instagram, and I upload Instagram, and then I do the podcast, and then basically all the rest of the time is drinking tea and finding loo roll. It's just needs must. In this economy, we go out hiking every day, like an 8-hour hike, and we scavenge for loo roll, and we have our hunting gear, bow and arrows, and we track the coyotes and jaguars, and we go into the outback, and we climb, do a bit of rock climbing. Sometimes we do like a free solo Alex Hanold climb, without any rope. Sometimes I'll do that 4 hours, so I can come all the way back and then just go to my local shop and buy loo roll. That is I just, how do I fill up the hours of the day? I must be doing that because I've got nothing else to show for it. So that's the idea. Be passionate and do something that you like doing. And so it might be writing, say, a diary. That might be quite cool. Or doing a podcast. And the thing about writing a diary or doing a podcast, it's not the same for everyone because everyone's different. So I can talk about utter tripe and fill up the time just to make myself feel good about my YouTube career prospects and not having to work in an office. So I could do that with my time on YouTube. If you have a podcast, you can talk about whatever you like. You can be more interesting and talk about life stories. Like last episode, I talked about how I wet myself in primary school. Very important life stories. And I wish I had like a separate camera that I switched between so you could see my sort of tummy area, because I'm doing a lot of hand gestures like around here, but you can't see them down there. But we'll figure something out and get the podcast to have the hand gestures cam one day. Anyway, so I've said nothing so far. We'll get onto that. We'll get onto the content of this YouTube video. So I do something you're passionate about. This is the aim. And so you could do a diary, write anything you want, or do a podcast, write anything you want. I think that's important. And then also, whenever you can, try and spend time with friends on the Zoom or WhatsApp or whatever, and try and call someone once a day. That would be quite cool. Or talk to people that you live with, or have some social contact as much as you can. And so do something you're passionate about is my way of filling the void. And then you feel like you're doing something, because there is something special about feelings like you're doing stuff. And it makes me think that maybe if I do have a boring life with an office job, I should be doing something that I'm passionate about every day, because I don't think it's healthy just to work, watch TV and do nothing else. I think that's a bad way to live, and I hope that if you learn anything from this podcast, you need to diversify your life, so you've got something you truly care about and you enjoy, and you can do something. So I would suggest writing a book, writing a diary, doing a podcast, writing poetry, learning lyrics to a song, because that's always quite cool to do, dancing in your bedroom, all these things. I'm just sort of detailing the past day of my life, really, and just thinking that's the way to live. And I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty happy. I don't know why. Just I was really bored and really, down and everything. And then I got like 5 likes on Instagram, and I was like, ooh, oh, there might be something to this. So I uploaded more photos, and then just really I've figured out that I've cracked life. Like, instead of going out and having the effort of walking and taking a camera with you and taking a photo, what you do is you stop doing that, you stay inside the whole time, talk to yourself in your room for 40 minutes a day, and then on top of that you upload old photos every day and get likes from very nice people on the internet every day. And then the odd time in the day you look at your phone, you've got a notification and it says your mum has liked it, and then I'll run over to the house and go, Mama, something amazing happened to me. And then I'll be like, and then she'll be like, Peter, what is it? You dear beloved son of mine, the one I look for in times of crisis. And I'll say, Mama, you liked my Instagram photo. And she'll be like, stop the cultural appropriation and just go back to your room. No, no, she'll be very kind. To be honest, I don't know what culture I was appropriating, if any there, but she'll be very kind and say, yeah, I liked your photo. But more realistically, what I would do, this is why I'm so happy, because I get Instagram likes. Just keep you happy, really. Just one Instagram like will keep me good for an hour, really. Oh yeah, because I'm used to just checking my phone, because I'm not posting anything. I just used to checking my phone, and I've got my fancy phone with my in-screen fingerprint sensor, and I put my thumb on it, and it will let me in, and I just love that, so I do it all the time. And then I look at notifications, and then it's like crickets just come up, and it's just emptiness, and like that cobweb thing rolls across the field, and there's just nothing. No WhatsApp. Nobody's seen my cheeky comment. No Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter, nothing. And this is hard. It's hard to take this in, because I swear I just checked my phone 5 minutes before that, and I had an Instagram like, and I don't understand how the world has caved in on me. The fact that I've gone to check my phone and there was nothing to check, and then the world sinks in and I collapse in on myself, and then I get a like on Instagram, an hour later brings a tear to my eye, and then I write my diary about it. Do something you're passionate about, do something nice. And I would say upload old Instagram photos if you've got any, because it's nice to share pictures of nice stuff to other people. Write a book. And I think what people should be doing is podcasting, because it's not just like this like genre of entertainment or something. It's basically a person talking and other people can see you, so you can say anything you want. So I would love it if everyone did their own podcast and everyone talked about their life stories, and then you could like find out about life and everything. And like if you were listening to an 80-year-old man talk about, you know, how they fell in love and everything. I don't really have much of an interesting life, so I really have to scrape the barrel and get my my toilet stories out of my brain to try and get something interesting. But yeah, if you had an 80-year-old talking about like the war or talking about something interesting and having a life story, and you could listen to that on YouTube. So I think that's the future, is everyone in their room with a poorly lit bedroom, because the window's behind me and I can't get natural lighting on my face. Yeah, so if everyone just talked to the camera and talked about stuff, I think that would be really interesting. And I think that's the future. Forget TV, forget entertainment, like forget comedy, forget Netflix, forget all of that. The future is people writing poetry, people talking about their lives, and people brushing their teeth once a day because you've realised that when you're only awake for a short time, you're basically brushing it the equivalent of twice a day, if in proportion. You know, if you're awake 8 hours, you brush your teeth once a day. If you're awake 16 hours, you brush your teeth twice a day, and that's how technically life works. Yeah, my breath. I don't know. I've got no girls to kiss, so you know. Obviously, I routinely do that in my day. That's part of my curriculum, if you know what I mean. Just you know, brushing my teeth, ready, or I'm always on hand to kiss a girl or boy, you know, depending on the you know, situation. Girl, boy, straight as a pencil, bent like a ruler. Anyway, forget about that. I always get weird, but I always think it's like when you say, "Oh, he said this," or "she." You use the word "he" or "she," and or male or female. Like, oh, all the boys, and or female. A man would be good at darts, or a female. You've got to factor that in, and then it gets into this weird space where you go on your own sexual orientation, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm into girls or boys," and you're like, "Oh wait, I'm not into boys, but I better just leave it there out in the open, so you know I'm politically correct and socially viable mate for a boy or a girl." No, I said boy first, so that's no good. Anyway, so this whole podcast situation is good. So the idea of this podcast, I'll try and get an idea for each podcast. I inevitably won't. I'll just get that nervous feeling before each podcast, thinking I've got nothing to say. I'm one step away to just getting it up to the next level and trying to start adding a level of interest and start swearing, because that's what all the podcast people are doing. They're swearing here, swearing there. But I just think it's got to be family friendly, you know, because the thing, whenever I watch Comedian and I want to watch it on the main TV with my Chromecast and cast it on, I'm like, my mum won't enjoy this because he's swearing all the time, but I find it hilarious. So imagine a world and a comedian that wasn't swearing, but it was also hilarious, so you could watch it with your mum. Bedroom window there. Childhood bedroom window. I'm not a child, 22 years old. I'm always going to be a child. Okay, what was I talking about? Nothing. The great thing about talking about this, and this with no correlation, you can't go off track because you didn't have a flipping track to begin with. I was saying about swearing and how you can be funny with swearing, and sometimes I just think, well, if I just shoved in, the F word, the hard F word in there instead of flipping, I might have, got that comedy value up a little bit. But I just don't think I'm ready in the world, because I always grew up learning that stuff like that doesn't make sense. I always grew up learning, ever since I was younger. Swearing's bad, okay? Swearing's bad, and I just have this thing, I don't swear. But I know that if I swear, I'll be like 10 times funnier. And particularly when I don't swear. But I'm such a virgin when it comes to swearing. I'm out there on my words today. Such a swearing virgin. Separate things together, not common between swearing and virgin. I'm such a swearing virgin that when I do swear, it's unnatural, it's just out of place, unethical, so you think, oh, Peter. So I have no idea if I started swearing like all the comedians do, hands up here, not by my tummy, is the idea. If I'm swearing like every day, and I just, like swearing becomes natural, and then they can just, put that F-bomb in here, say the bad word for poo, and just shove it here and there, and then you get to a stage where it's natural, and you mother effer, and things are funny, but it's so unnatural for me that I never swear. That I don't know if it's funny if I do swear, but one day I will come of age and I'll be F this, F that, mother effer. But then the downside is if I was a stand-up comedian, because this is obviously what I'm doing now in my life. If I was a stand-up comedian, then swearing wouldn't be good, because you couldn't watch it with your mum. That's really the essence of life, really. Being able to watch stuff with your mum. That is the test of a true program. But all the best programs I've ever watched have a ton of swearing, have a lot of swearing. So swearing has its advantages and its disadvantages. Anyway, so basically what we've learned is I had nothing to talk about, and I filled the time with words, and that's really at the stage I'm at the moment. And I don't know if that's what I'll be like in a year's time, or this will just be a distant memory of that time I started podcasting. I'm just hoping I can stick with it and just keep on going, because even if I have a boring episode, at least I'm creating content and stuff. That's the dream. Yeah. So we're getting near the end of the time. We try not to brag on too much about the time and how many people watching, and the technicalities of my YouTube stardom, always imminent. I'd like to. I've got this paradox in my mind. I want to talk. I want to be big on YouTube. Also, I get nervous if anybody's watching me, and I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Why have I got this setup here with my tripod, with my camera, with my microphone, with my laptop? What's happening here? What on earth is happening across all these mediums where I just I don't know, and I have all this setup here, and I'm like, well, what if people are watching me? And it just gets a bit daunting, but I'm just gonna have to cope. Because it's what I truly want. I want to be big on the podcasting world, and I want to be on Joe Rogan's podcast. And if more than one person sees me while doing it, if I have 1 million viewers or whatever it is, then so be it. I just have to stop looking at the numbers and start looking at actual things to say. Right, thank you for watching. I don't usually ask this, but if you can, you know, like the video if you like it and stuff, and I'll be here tomorrow similar time. Enjoy your day, do something you're passionate in, and make the most of this quarantine time. Hashtag get that quarantine content. Thank you for watching. So my book, An Unbelievable God, Peter Newing. Instagram @Peter Newing. Twitter @The Pete Repeater. And my surname is Newing. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Bye.